Hey everyone, before this episode starts, I just wanted to let everybody know that it has a bit of a weird beginning. At some point during the podcast, I had to deal with this situation and I hit stop on the software that I'm using. And when I did that, it moved the cursor all the way to the beginning of the podcast. And I hit record. Luckily, I realized that it had did that. I stopped in time before it got too deep. I think you just missed the intro, but uh, yeah, that was a headache in and of itself. It scared the shit out of me. But uh, another reason why I'm making this video is I get into some very personal stories, some stories that mean a lot to me, that help shape me, and yeah, I've never really shared that with many people, and putting it out there and talking about it and getting lost in the conversation, it was just it I love the flow of it. So I think that's where I'm gonna aim, uh to counterbalance the rants, because there are gonna be rants, like I've said countless times. I'm gonna say some some very, very just bad jokes, just off the top of my head. I say it in the moment just to make, you know, hopefully make someone laugh. But all this is satire, it's entertainment, or my attempt at entertainment, because I would never say that, you know, I'm entertaining. I don't know, still in the beginning, but I'm really looking forward to episode 4. Please enjoy the show, and if you must show this podcast to anybody, please show them this episode, because this is the best representation of where I want to go with live from the film strip. All right, guys, stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Live from the Film Strip. I am your host, Christopher A. Padilla. Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is episode 3. Uh, Now, this podcast is starting a little later than I had hoped. There are a lot of noises, as you can hear. There's dogs outside, I think, so you may or may not hear my uncle in the background and or aunt. I mean, they shouldn't be out. It's about to be 11, but there's also a cat in the living room and dining room that likes to run around and scurry and just really make a bunch of noise at late hours, which is another reason why I didn't want to record so late. But it's fine. It's okay. So on today's episode, what we're gonna be covering, I don't know. I don't know in the beginning. This is just me kind of warming up. But I will tell you, we're gonna be reviewing a German horror film, by the name of Lutz. I think I'm saying that correctly. I don't know. Please, people, do not kill me over my translation of these names, because it is a German film. And I gotta say, it was a surprisingly good film. Like, not even to the level of surprise that I. Here's the thing. Hold on. Oh, I thought I heard something. No, that's probably my aunt. It's probably my aunt. Anyway, so the positive vibes that I want to get into, okay, is I just got done signing into Shudder, thanks to my great friend Mikey P. I don't know why I gave him that nickname, but that's his nickname to me. He's this. Let me tell you, this guy can tell some crazy like stories of New York. He was a cop in New York back in the day. Okay, back in the day before an M&M store moved into Times Square, like where Times Square was Taxi Driver. And man, but anyway, thanks to him, he got me Shudder, and I have to say, it is probably the best like luxury streaming service there is. And people, luxury is not a bad thing. Okay, you have to really love horror if you get Shudder. Okay, now I'm gonna let you in on a little secret about me. Before I got Shudder, I was kind of on the fence on how deep of a horror fan I was. And for the most part, I'd like to say that I was a, a fan. You know, I grew up on Hammer films. I saw An American Werewolf in London and Halloween at age 6, you know, so just probably not a good time to see both those films. Definitely not An American Werewolf in London. But nevertheless, you know, horror has kind of always been in my life. And when I signed on, I didn't know what to expect because up until that point, I was kind of questioning if I was that big of a horror fan, you know? Because I haven't seen the Hammer films since I was a kid. Well, not a kid, well, since I was younger. And I haven't really gone back to horror as much as I've gone back to, let's say, crime. You know, Goodfellas and watching Scorsese films, Tarantino films, and so like horror got pushed down for me a little bit. And then I saw Shudder. And then I realized how big of a horror fan I really am, because there's like 3 channels that are set up, right? And this is not a sponsor. They are not paying me for this. This is one of those free plug type of things because it's just something that I'm so pleased with that, oh, it's just, I gotta talk about it, you know? So they have 3 channels and it's broken up. So they have like a witch, I think, a slasher, and like uh, God, I don't know. I forgot what the third one was. It's been, yeah. What was it? Shit. But it's these 3 separate channels that just play random films, 24/7, and you can just jump right in. Like before I jumped on, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was starting, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm not the biggest Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan, and I know that's like a lot of people, a lot of people. Some people probably are not listening. They're probably thumbs downing this video right now because I don't like it, and it sucks because I am a Texan too. So it's all sorts of fucked up, right? But I didn't grow up watching it like I grew up watching, you know, Jason, Freddy, and Michael Myers. It wasn't until I was like maybe 13, maybe 14. I don't know. It's hard to really put a number, but yeah, I just don't remember clicking with it. And now, you know, seeing the beginning of it, it was a Ford van that they were driving. That's a beautiful van, and I'm a Ford guy. So I think I may give it another chance now that I know that's on Shudder. But anyway, I went in and I saw Joe Bob Briggs. This guy was a guy I grew up with. You know, me and my grandpa would watch Monster Vision on TNT. Every everything, every oh man, I forgot what day it came out, but every time it came on, me and my grandpa were there, and um, I always I think I liked those things around the cans that he had, the beer cozies, and you know, I'd put my soda in one, and he'd have a beer cozy on his beer, and we'd just watch whatever horror or whatever they were showing. You know, I saw uh, what I see. I saw Gremlins for sure. Definitely some of the Friday the 13th, and I want to say I want to say The Fly. I want to say that The Fly was a film that I saw on there because that one really messed me up. That one, oof, that one stuck with me. But he has his own show on Shudder. Joe Bob Briggs' Last Drive-In, and he's still got it. You know, he still has it, and I'm so happy because I saw advertisements for it. You know, a while back when he was. When it was first out, I think there are a few seasons in and a few like holiday specials like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and they just did like a Halloween one uh, for this year, uh, and it still has the charm even all these years later, and it's like that's something that I want to praise Shudder for, bringing that show back, that feeling of that show, that charm, and pushing it because they're now on a streaming service. So now they don't have to worry about censors or any of that shit. They can just say whatever they want and show whatever they want. And I find myself watching like those like the films that they talk about are on the service, but I find that I like watching those, the ones that he cuts, you know, when the movie cuts and, you know, he comes back on to talk to the audience. I watch those and I still I retain the film so much more, and I love the film so much more because I know that you know he's watching he's enjoying these films. You know, he has this joy of horror that, oh man, that I've missed, you know, that I've missed. And the one thing, they need to get Tales from the Crypt right. They need to bring that back. Tales from the Crypt was the shit too. But well, that's another discussion for another time. This is well, maybe, yeah, you know what? It's 10 minutes in. I can talk a little bit about Tales from the Crypt. That one was another one that I shouldn't have watched at the age that I watched this. None of these. Like, I mean, Joe Bob, it was on TNT, so it was censored adjacent. You know, there were some, you know, I think there were some serious cuts with certain things, obviously, but um, Tales from the Crypt, I don't remember where I saw it on. I mean, it had to have been HBO, or I think it was HBO that had it. I don't remember, but I saw it, and I remember that opening, and then the logo. That was another thing that we'd watch every week, Tales from the Crypt, and it was just it it was good. It made me happy. It was I remember being happy watching that show with my grandpa, and just those moments, man. Those moments are something that I hope to pass on to like my sister, and if you know, if I ever have kids, you know, at this point, I don't think so. I don't think I want any kids. You know, not for me. You know, yeah, I wouldn't mind. You know, if I got in a relationship, somebody has a kid, that's fine. That's cool. You know, but me personally, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, uh, it's not clicking right with me right now. So it is what it is. But I have a sister, and she's being raised at least half with my mom and my dad. My mom and dad. See, here's the thing about my mom and dad. My mom and dad are some cool people. Like like they're really cool. That I would say that they are the kind of parents you'd want to be raised by. You know what I'm saying? Cuz like my mom was raised by my grandma and my grandpa, and they got all the pop culture. My grandpa was always down on the latest stuff, you know? He was always interested in tech and all that stuff. And my dad, you know, he I mean, dude, this guy, if you see like his movie collection, he has a movie collection, an alphabetical order movie collection, dude. I mean, these guys, you know, they know their stuff about movies, and rightfully so. Like back in the day, man, in high school, this was something that I'll always cherish. You know, even before that, um, what we do when my mom met my dad, you know, this was uh they had met, and you know they moved in and stuff like that. So it was, you know, he's my stepdad, but I call him my dad. We'd start going to see Oscar films every year. Like they'd print out, like my dad would print out lists, and on the weekends, starting Friday through Sunday, maybe even sometimes during the week, you know, if you know if it's an earlier showing. But we try our best to make it through all of the films that are nominated. Aside from like foreign films or films that we can't get a hold of, like short films um and short animations, stuff like that. But we even saw some foreign films because we saw Pan's Labyrinth, which, oh my god, seeing that in theaters, man, that was fucking crazy. That was a film that hit me, and it was one of those, you know, films. It is subtitled, but after a while, you know, it doesn't matter. I don't know if that's the Hispanic side in me, you know, kind of knowing how the language works and kind of putting it together as I was going along. But man, that fucking film, dude, that was just magical. Anyway, so we'd go to the movies, right? That's what our thing was. And I look back and I'm like, I wonder sometimes, you know, if like that was my way of my stepdad like connecting with me. I know he probably did that, you know, in California and stuff, but I don't know, you know. I think he I'd like to think that he did, you know. We were connecting on that wavelength. And man, there were some times I in at that time there were some moments that happened to me, key moments that I'll never forget, that were burned into my soul, good or bad. um oh my god, I just went on a rant about this, and we're supposed to be talking about Shudder. I'm gonna be back to Shudder because there's some more things that I have to talk about with that. But I remember there was this um there was this double feature, right? And it was showing at the same theater, and the times, you know, we timed it just right. We could just leave that movie and go to the next one, right? These two films are The Reader, and I think Kate Winslet was, I think it was Kate Winslet. Duh. I yeah. It was Kate Winslet. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is when I get on the mic. I just, it just all goes, it all goes away. The pop culture knowledge gets locked up, and I'm like, oh no, I don't know what to say. But no, The Reader which is a period piece about a young boy and an older woman having an affair in Germany, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a drama, and so and then there was another film. The other film in this double feature was Rachel Getting Married. Oh man. Now, guys, this was the plan. We were going to see The Reader because it sounded like it was going to be a depressing film. And we were right on that. But we figured that, well, since, you know, Rachel Getting Married, we looked it up. Like, my dad looked up a review in the paper. Like, in the fucking paper, guys. In the paper, there was a review. It was in Dallas. I don't know who reviewed it. Okay, I don't. But they had said that it was a comedy drama. So our logic was we go get depressed, and then we go find the next, go to Rachel Getting Married, and then boom, we laugh and cheer up. Okay? So we go into The Reader, and I'm watching this film, and there is a lot of nudity with Kate Winslet, and I think the actor, the that's playing the dude, I think he gets naked, but I don't remember. All I remember is Kate Winslet, and I was like, it was one of those like things where I noticed it, but I didn't notice it. Like, I mean, come on, of course I noticed it, but I was so engaged in the story, and the relationship felt so real, and the I don't want to. I'm not going to spoil that movie. It's a very beautiful movie. It's a very depressing movie. Now, I'm emotional. I'm crying by the end of this film, right? So I'm ready to laugh. I'm ready to have a fucking ball with Rachel Getting Married, right? Oh, and I didn't tell you this. This was even crazier. So we go to the theater, we get the tickets, and we realize not only is it on the same side, but it's directly in front of us. It's right across the aisle. So it couldn't have worked out better, right? Depressing, laughing, perfect. So we go to Rachel Getting Married. We get the best seats, right? There's hardly anybody there. But the film starts. And oh fucking no. Dude, the camera work in this film is like documentary style, but with like a family home video vibe. Like it feels like someone who doesn't know how to work the focus, but he does. You know, the guy is a great director of photography. I don't know the guy, but I remember looking him up and being impressed by his filmography. And it's just it's it's turning my stomach, this camera movement. And I look to my right because my mom's in the middle, my dad's to the right of her, and they're like they're reacting the same way as me. But I'm like, I'm not gonna, what am I gonna do? I don't know what to do in this situation. I'll just deal with it, you know? Not everyone can be winners. Maybe the film will get better. Funny, you know? Holy fucking shit. It felt so uncomfortable. And I know that was probably the intent of the filmmaker, is just to, you're a fly on the wall of this family, and they're getting the process of marriage, and these awkward, just weird jokes, and it's just weird. It's so weird. And it's and there's always this looming thing that's over this family that you don't really know about. And then there's a child's plate that falls on the ground that takes the wind out of the entire room because the fiance makes a joke and everything, and then the plate falls and it's a kid's plate, and then you find out that, I don't know, some kid died in a car accident or something. I think Rachel caused this accident because she's an alcoholic, um and yeah, and it's so depressing and just it made me feel sick. And we got out, I felt sick, I felt depressed, and then I turned to my mom as we're leaving. I'm like, that was a horrible film. And she agreed with me. My dad agreed with me. We were just like, what the hell was that? We should have just left. I said we should have just left. And my mom's like, why didn't you say something? I would have been happy to leave. Everybody, it was in agreement that this film was just god awful. And Anne Hathaway's in there, so I love it. Christian Bale. Oh no, sorry. Christian Bale's not in it. Sorry. Oh my god, folks, you just saw a flub. You heard a flub. I'm looking up because I couldn't remember Anne Hathaway, and I typed in The Dark Knight Rises instead of Rachel getting married because that would have probably been easier, you know. But I like to do things, you know, more complicated on this show. That's what the show's about. But but yeah. There was that moment. And there was this other moment. This moment that is probably where I would say is worse because I can tell that story and I can still, I still saw a great film in the beginning. I still saw The Reader. I still experienced that film on the big screen. But like, there's nothing worse than missing a monumental film on the big screen, and it's because of your shitty taste in movies. And we've all had those, folks. We've all had those shitty fucking tastes in movies that we don't even bring up. We don't even mention that we saw, right? This one wasn't quite so bad. Um it's more of a hold on, folks. I got to switch these headphones. Had them on the wrong side. Yeah, this wasn't that bad. I find the film still a bit enjoyable even now because it was one of those things. But my we were going out to the movies, and my mom was like, "Hey, do you want to come see Munich with us?" And I'm like, "Munich? What is it?" And I think she mentioned it's like Spielberg. It's about the Munich terrorist attack or the Olympics. And it's she was being very vague about it, and then she was just like, it's probably going to be boring, it's long. That was the thing. She was like, it's 2 hours and 44 minutes, so it's long. And it's just, it's like, that deterred me from seeing Munich on the big screen, right? So I go to the theater, and she's like, what movie would you want to see instead? And I said, because I was a fan of Billy Bob Thornton, Mr. Woodcock. I saw Mr. Woodcock instead of Munich. Okay? Now, Mr. Woodcock, I only remember because there were certain funny scenes towards the end when, falls flat on his face. But Billy Bob Thornton, Sean William Scott, Susan Sarandon, I like those people, and it's a comedy. Okay. So that movie um is only an hour and a half, right? An hour and a half. So it ends. I still had to wait another hour, and you know, almost another hour. Like it's just I had to wait outside, right? And this guy, this worker, comes in and sees me standing outside waiting for. He's just like, "Hey, is everything okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, my mom and dad are watching, Munich. My movie ended, so I'm just waiting for them." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, dude, you can just go in and be fine." And I said no, cause I said no because I didn't have a ticket. That's why. That's what stopped me, dude. I said no because I didn't have a ticket. That's in my mind. He didn't know that. I'm like, no, that's fine. Thank you. I was dumb, right? So fucking stupid. I could have seen the. Oh my god. Okay, right. Now my mom gets out and everything. She's like, "It's a good film. It's a good film. Really, forget about it, right?" And then 24 years old. I was like, I don't know how old I was back then. I don't know when these movies came out. I was either 15 or 16, maybe. So it took me like almost almost 10 years. It's like 8 years or something like that. And I was just like, "Oh, it's on Netflix. Let me check it out." That, guys, let me tell you something. Munich is one of the most intense fucking films I have ever seen. And I saw that film on a 1080p small TV. Not that big. It's not a fucking theater screen. Let me just say that much, all right? And it hurt me seeing that or seeing that film and feeling how I felt about that film, how much I loved that film. It killed me knowing that I went to go see Mr. Woodcock instead of this film, a Spielberg film. When you don't go see a Spielberg film in the theater, dude, you hate yourself. Especially a Spielberg film that's like that. That is the one that's just, oh fuck. But yeah, that's you know being high school, seeing all those films, exposed to all those films, it just drove me further wanting to make film, make something, make a web series, make a movie, you know, uh, write, just everything, everything. It's helped. But Shudder, as we get back to it, oh my god, this cat is driving me crazy. I don't know what he's doing. He likes to scratch things. So if you, I apologize. Mm. Anyway, back to Shudder. Oh, and the train's going by, guys. Yeah, woohoo! The train is on time yet again. I feel like I'm in My Cousin Vinny with this shit. It's like it's when it's not the train, it's gonna be something else. And Lord help me if some asshole in a fucking like on a Harley. Oh my god, that is obnoxious. I hear it. I hear him. I don't know. I don't know. It drives me nuts. It drives me up the wall. Anyway, back to Shudder. So I'm I'm looking at all the. I'm first off the shorts. My God, the shorts on this on this like on this subscription service is just out of this world. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I'm gonna go see what this cat's doing. Hold on. I'll be back. Sorry, guys. I had to go. I almost lost this podcast. Holy shit. I fucking stopped it, right? And when you stop it, it takes you all the way back to the beginning. So I hit record and then I stopped. You hear most of the intro, but it's gonna sound a little weird, so I apologize. I don't know what he's scratching on out there. I went out there. He's found something, or he's digging in something. It's I can hear it through the wall. It sounds like he's scratching the wall, and it's like, and I know it's him because I hear him run, and then I hear the sound, and then so you might hear it again. So please okay, bear with me, folks. Bear with me. So this so Shudder, I am completely blown away by your selection. I saw The Shed, which is a great film, and I think we were talking about the shorts before I left. The short film selection is very interesting because it ranges, you know. Some films have more money than others, but for the most part, they all hit. And my favorite one is Cats, the short called Cats. And the way it was filmed, the way it was lit, the way everything felt, it felt like a vintage horror film. It looked like it was shot on film. Turns out it wasn't. Turns out it was filmed on a couple of Ari Alexa minis, and it was all post production. And I found that out through the director and cinematographer who made the short when I tweeted about it. Um, and so being surprised on a streaming service as much as I have been with this particular service is really refreshing because it's no longer a um, it's no longer just littered with things that some algorithm picks, or maybe certain people pick what goes on here and stuff, but it's all coming from the same love, from the same place and love, that that horror love. And it's just, I find that I see more films I enjoy off this service than others. Now that's not to say that Netflix, Amazon Prime, you know, Hulu, they all have great programs on there, like Hulu Pen 15, one of my favorite shows. Love that show. I would say it's really good. Uh Netflix, another surprise, Love. That film, or not that film, that show rather, was a great show. Was a real authentic feeling show. Hold on, folks. I gotta get my phone. There it is. In case I have to look something up. But yeah, man, yeah. So they've all surprised me at some point. But with this, I mean, it's just, it's so pleasant. Like Creep Show. They that series. Looking at that and seeing those shorts filmed in the way that the movie, it's refreshing. It's so great. It it's it's nice to play watch roulette on there and just pick something at random, or watch one of the three channels that they have. Um Now, I'm talking about Shudder so much, you know, full transparency, because the film part of the show, or the film review rather, part of the show, features a, I think it might be a Shudder exclusive, but it's hold on one sec. Okay, hold on. Before I get into the review, I need to say something. In the last episode, I talked about Christopher Abbott, or no, not Christopher Abbott. Sorry, I'm confused because this is like I was gonna get into the review, then I had to pull the brakes. I reviewed Possessor, and I forgot to mention Christopher Abbott, which is pretty much the main character in that we're with through the majority of the film. His performance in Possessor was phenomenal. And I don't know why I forgot to bring him up. I didn't have his name up, and it was all just, it was very confusing for me. But that he displayed the personality of not only one person but two, and it's he does it in a way that's so real, so uh it's I praise his performance. Sorry, I just had to put that in there because I would I would hate myself if I didn't bring his acting performance up. So I apologize for that. Now I'm not gonna make that same mistake twice. So I uh, I am going to try my best at some of these names. Uh, some of them are a lot easier to pronounce than others. I might flub them. I apologize. So this film. Oh wait, it's not a Shudder exclusive. You could watch it on Tubi for free. Holy shit! So you guys can watch it right now. This is great. Please watch it. Check it out. Download Tubi to see it. TUBI. But the film that surprised me that I saw on this service was Lutz. LUZ. I think I'm saying it right. It is a horror film directed by Tillman Singer, written by Tillman Singer, cinematography by Paul Faltz. Let's see. Let's get the music too. Let's get the music. Simon Waskow. Um, man, this film was something that I was not expecting. And what I mean by that is I saw the trailer for this film. This film was released in 2018. And I think a year later in the US, I don't quite remember, but I remember people talking about it who saw it at festivals. I think it was in South by Southwest. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But it was at one of the festivals, and one of the review sites had mentioned this film and loving it. So I looked up the trailer, and the poster that I'm going to use for the picture when I talk about reviews. Yeah, that image stuck with me. It's this white eyes and the spirit going. It was crazy in the trailer. I'm watching the trailer, and so having said all that, fast forward to now, I see that poster, and immediately I have to watch it. I have to watch this film. This film is only an hour and 10 minutes long. No fat whatsoever. Everything flows at a steady pace. Now, this film is about a young cab driver fleeing from the grasp of a possessed woman whose confession could endanger the lives of everyone who crosses her path. And that's a brief summary of it. Okay? So Lutz is this cab driver. Now, that is all I feel comfortable saying about this film, because I do think that it should go in completely cold. Now, Luna Velis plays the title character. She is a very great actor, because there is a particular scene where it feels almost like a uh, I don't know. I don't know how to explain this sequence of events. It's kind of like it's mm, see, and this is a problem, because any of the things that I want to talk about are significant in the story and the way the story is told. And I think that I would be doing the filmmakers disservice if I try to half ass a description or try to explain what it is that this film does. But it does something pretty fucking cool. Now, Julia Riedler plays Nora Vanderkert. Jean Bluthart plays Dr. Rosini. And Jonas Benek plays Olarte. Olarte? I don't know. Olarte? I don't know. I can't say that. Sorry, guys. But it's very minimal, but it doesn't look that way. It looks like time and care was put into these shots, these sequences, these vignettes that string together to tell this story. Now, there's a part in this film that feels a little Edgar Wright. Feels like it's going in this direction, which I wasn't expecting it to be filmed in this type of way and told this way. But again, it just adds to it, because you an hour and 10 minutes, you have to hit your marks, right? So for an hour and 10 minutes, you have to sell the audience on what they saw in the trailer, but also not all they saw in the trailer, because what you don't see in the trailer is what I can't talk about. And some of the things in the trailer, again, are, after seeing the film, they show enough, but they don't show everything. And now, this film has to go at this pace, right? So they have to find ways to surprise you and add things to the scene, or the add interest to keep your mind going, which is why I think they filmed one section in this way, they filmed some section in this way, and then they transition between these vignettes through these amazing just musical cues and slow pull-ins, and the sound effects and the visual and the sound mixing. It's just flawless. And to top it all off, it's filmed on 16 millimeter, which again just adds another layer of just of beauty to the film. This, if had I seen this in 2018, like Possessor, I would it would be in the top. It would have to be maybe the top 3. I have to see the films that came out in 2018. My memory's not that good, but I would have to say that that film would have made it, because there are so few horror films that that's from beginning. I'm not saying there are plenty of horror films. No, don't a. There are plenty of horror films that know when to to leave the audience wanting more. There's, of course, that's how sequels get made and shit. But there's so like that do it in a this graceful way that I hadn't seen in horror do, because it's like you see an hour and 10 minutes, you're like, yeah, that's doable. That's an episode of a show with credits, if even that, it's not 70 minutes. Anybody, that's another thing. 70 minutes, who's going to argue with seeing that if you bring it up? That's another thing that I wanted to bring on. Well, bring it up now. This is highly recommendable because of the runtime. If it, I would now personally, I wouldn't mind more of it, of the story. But again, 16 millimeter ain't cheap to film on, especially in color. So I understand why it's so short. That film, oh man, I can't even imagine the headache. But it doesn't overstay its welcome. It leaves you wanting more, and much like Possessor, it it's not a feel good type of thing, I guess. If that makes sense. Now there are some funny parts. That's where I say it differs from Possessor, because the Possessor just is depressing all the way through. There's no shining star at the end. There's nothing happy there. But here there are some funny moments. Whether the filmmaker intended them to be funny, there are some funny moments. And they were funny to me because it is so weird that it happens. Some almost like fourth wall breaky, but not really. It's not. It does. It feels like it. It feels like there's a stop. Like certain moments, it feels like breaking the fourth wall type of thing. I don't know if, but rewatching it, I think it's meant to be taken something different, taken in a different light. But for the most part, it just. But when you see it, when you see it again, it it adds more context. So it wasn't really funny. It's funny when you first see it. I don't know. It might be. There's one part that's still funny, even though I saw it a second time. I just, for whatever reason, find it funny, and it involves a sound booth, um, and a guy. That's all I'm gonna say. But this is a 5 out of 5 stars, or five. You know what? I'm not gonna do stars. I'm gonna do film strips. What are we doing here? Like I'm live from the film strip. 5 film strips out of 5. Highly recommend this for anybody who loves, or even loves the appreciation of horror, more so the people who love horror that is on film, on celluloid. Just, I know I said that wrong. That's a hard word for me to pronounce. My tongue just doesn't move that way. I apologize. So please go see Lutz. It is on Tubi, for free. Just download the app, I'm assuming, and TUBI, and it's on Shudder. Shudder, I gotta say once again, please, if you're a horror fan and you just want to be able to turn on an app, right, a horror app, and just pick at random, you're gonna land on something that you are not gonna be disappointed with. It's gonna be hard to be disappointed with anything you pick on Shudder. In fact, I'm gonna pick my next film, just at random, from Shudder, after I record this episode, after my rant. So please download Shudder if you're a horror fan. Now, the third act is about to begin. The rant. Now, I've been thinking a lot about this, and I'm trying to think of something that has pushed my buttons to no end. Right? Now, the thing that I'm starting to get annoyed with is people having these loud conversations in public. You know what I mean? Like not people like my aunts and uncle like have phone calls outside. That's fine. That's okay. You know? They're not it's not loud enough to where it's distracting. But there are some people, man, that just have these fucking arguments outside. These loud fucking arguments, and nobody's just like, take this shit inside or go to the backyard. Like, nobody is telling them that shit. And it I noticed it just the other day. I was fucking walking, right? I walk, that's how I lose weight. But like, this fucking guy is having it. First off, he steps outside his house. He doesn't have a shirt on. He doesn't have a fucking shirt on. Do you understand what I'm saying? He looks like me. And folks, let me tell you something. When I get a webcam on here, for those of you who may listen to this and I don't know, and enjoy the sound of my voice, I don't know. I don't know if you do or don't. Obviously, it's doing it to like one of the 4 people that are watching these videos. They seem to enjoy it enough. But let me tell you something. I am fat. Okay? I am fat. All right? I'm not huge. Okay? I've definitely made some progress in the weight, but I'm fat. Okay? So, and I'm saying this now because sometime in the future, there's a rant coming that involves like overweight and something. You know, it's coming. I don't want to say anymore because I don't want to get heated about that. But I want to wait to do that one until I have a webcam so you can see, so that I'm not, so nobody's like, oh yeah, this guy's just fucking bullshit. No, I'm fat. Okay. If I were to take off this shirt and go outside, I'm having a brain aneurysm or something. I'm fucked up on something. That's when you know, like, oh shit, he's hit rock bottom. I'm not stepping out of this room unless I have a shirt. There's no gut showing. My tits aren't eating the top of the shirt. That's where I'm at right now. Like, I'm sitting down right now. I'm wearing a Charizard shirt, and it looks like Charizard has no neck. You follow me? Cause the line in which I'm sitting is getting engulfed by my chest. So it looks like Charizard has no neck. Guys, this is not a pretty picture that I'm watching from across the street, and I'm seeing him across the street get his newspaper, right? And then he gets a phone call, right? He gets a phone call. Now, look, I don't mind you having a phone call in your front yard. I personally would not do that. I take phone calls and I walk and I talk sometimes, but I do it in a spot that is not seen or heard by other people when I'm walking. And if I'm walking and people show up, I get off the call and I switch to music. Okay? And I just walk. Now, I could be annoying some of the houses nearby. I'm not speaking that loudly. I'm just having a conversation. Okay? Nothing. But like these people who just don't give a fuck and have no shirt on takes this call. Now, I'm not going to do a voice to, so I'm just going to do a regular East Coast accent. He doesn't sound like this, by the way. This is the only voice I can do that kind of, you know, can get my point across. Of this is like, and here's the thing, I love East Coast. This is just the accent I do because I can't talk the way he sounds, right? So this is what the phone call was. Oh, hey. Oh, Marvin, oh my God, I haven't talked to you in years. How are you? How have you been? What? $200? I don't owe you $200. What do you mean I owe you $200? No. You better check your books again, cause I don't know you know $200. I'll tell you that much. No, fuck you, buddy. Hey, yo, I want proof. I want you to bring your book down here, and I want to fucking see it. I want to that at that level, and I'm slowing down my pace because I want to see where this goes. I want to see where it goes because I don't experience this shit as often as I used to. I used to experience random crazy shit that happened every time I left the house. But this fucking guy greased up in something. I don't know if it's sunscreen. Oh my God, hair. Dude, his belly was covered in hair. Like, how can you walk out of, oh my, see, I don't know. See, this is the mindset I get in. This is me boiling over because I'm trying to enjoy my walk. Now, I don't have phone calls all the time. I have phone calls sometimes, but in this particular case, I'm just planning on listening to music, get in my head, figure out the writer's block that I'm fucking dealing with, and I got this fucking guy ranting about $200. $200. I'm like, this can't be real. Somebody's fucking with me. It has to be that, right? It has to fucking be that. But like, I guess my rant is not about people that have conversations outside. It's more about people that just don't give a fuck how the rest of the world sees them and just steps out in with no shirt. Now, folks, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have my hair like tied up. I don't. I have long hair. It just falls down, right? Mainly because I just don't want I want to put out an image that I don't want to fucking I don't want people to approach me. You know what I mean? That's kind of how you have to be, around here. You kind of you be friendly with the people that you're friendly with, but like other than that, just try to put out a vibe for other people to be like, yeah, you know what? There's something not right about this guy. There's something off about him. I don't know what it is, and that's what I want, right? But like stepping outside without a shirt on is something that is troubling to me. It's fucking troubling because I see my fat. I see all this shit, and I know this fucker sees it. There's no way you can't see it. There's no fucking way you cannot see this gut. Okay? There's no way. So to have this private conversation in broad daylight like this is fucked up. So the conversation continues. Oh, are you gonna be here? Oh, wait, hold on. I can't. I don't know how to do. I see my East Coast jumps around. It sounds more Italian in some places. I can go here, there, East Coast, West. Hey, you think that when did I take this $200 from you? That's what I want to know. When did I take it from you? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't recall ever you coming to my house with any sort of money. So you're I can't, man. I can't. Guys, I have these headphones on and like I hear this voice and I'm I'm closing my eyes and I'm imagining this dude with this East Coast accent and it's just it's too perfect. All right, let me try it again. Oh, really? Last Easter? Last Easter, you're coming to me now. Since the virus has started, all this shit that's happened, and out of the fucking blue, you just think, hey, I know someone who owes me $200. I don't want to say his name because he says his name. Are you fucking kidding me? And like, I don't know what Marvin is saying. I don't know what this dude is saying. I'm saying Marvin because I I saw Pulp Fiction. It's not his real name. I I didn't want to, I didn't want to spoil it. I just, so people don't like, hey, you said his name. Why you said, I don't say any names. I switch it up. My bad. So I'm turning off the headphones and I'm listening more. And this is when he notices me, but he doesn't say anything. He just takes it inside and he continues. He's like, look, I'm going to be off tomorrow. If you want to stop by at around noon, I want to see where it says I owe you $200. And if you're lying to me, we can no longer do business with each other. I'm like you're going to I'm like what for, like there's so many questions going on in my mind, Like what is this business that these two are in? Okay, if this is one half of the business, if I'm staring at one half of the business, the other half, I don't know. The other half might have a belt around his arm and a needle in his, it's just getting ready to shoot up. Like, there's no business, like, there's no bank that would give this jack off a fucking loan. And this guy has a fucking business, right? Like, oh man, so I'm trying to imagine what Marvin's like, and I'm just imagining like a cul-de-sac balding, you know what I'm saying, like a George Costanza type of thing. And I'm thinking he's a little meek. I think he's easily intimidated, which is why this guy is acting the way that he is, because he feels that acting this way is going to give him the best results, or or I don't know. I don't fucking know. And whatever his plan is, whatever it seemed to be, working, because he's getting this dude to come by at noon, right? Now, I know what you're thinking. I should, of course, know that I'm gonna be, probably walking down the street at around noon. But when I did, there was no cars, there was nobody there, so you know maybe they wanted to meet somewhere, and I don't know, anything could have happened when once the conversation was taken inside. But I'm just oh, and bro, like, it's not that hard to look passable. Even now, I'm in khaki shorts, a Charizard shirt, and I got some um those fur slippers. Hold on. Sorry, folks. I'm looking up something real quick. But yeah, and this is one of my lighter rants, but it's just it's just something that I've noticed, that as I, look around and notice things and notice people, I'm noticing a lot of people don't care. I know I've seen, like, I go to the store, right? Oh my fucking god. I went to the fucking store, like, the grocery store. There was this there was this black chick wearing a onesie, a cow onesie with the hood, so the face is on top of her head. She has a tail, and on the front there are these udders, and she's waiting in line. How can you look at yourself and not just be like, where's my life going? That I'm gonna leave the house in a fucking cow onesie. What are people going to say when they see me in this? You know, that thought never crossed that person's head. No, no, it was just like, yeah, this cow onesie, let me throw it on and pick up whatever. I think she was getting beer or something, rightfully so. Maybe she was in a party. I don't think so. Okay, because this cow onesie had seen better days. All right, this cow onesie has been through the pasture, so to speak. So I can't. I can't assume. You know, but I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she just didn't give a fuck. Maybe she's like me. Maybe she is just like me and is putting on this fucking cow onesie to let people know that she's fucking nuts and that you shouldn't approach her for anything. And if that's the case, bravo. Point taken. I would not approach her for anything. Nothing. I wouldn't ask her at the time, because I feel that if I did, it would be a series of events in the style of After Hours, in which a bunch of random tragic events afflict me for a certain amount of time before I end up back home in front of a microphone talking to you fine people. Well, guys, wow, this is a longer episode. This is like an hour and 10 minutes. That's crazy. Holy shit, I just went on. Yeah, guys, that wasn't much of a rant. Like I said, it was just something that got under my skin, that gave me the reaction. There's gonna be, trust me, guys, I have a Rolodeck of things that have plagued my mind, whether they be big, small, or just quick thoughts that lingered a lot longer than I had hoped. Trust me, there's gonna be hell coming. All right, but until then, please follow me on Twitter, Instagram at Film Age Studios. And if you like my logo, please follow Perp Crew Productions, and crew is spelled CRU Productions on Instagram. Jason Legacy, this guy does such an amazing job. And I said, listen, my show is going to be called Live from the Filmstrip. Okay? I told him the idea that I wanted. I wanted there to be a strip of film running along the side of an F, like it's part of the F, right? And I want that, and it's just going to have like old Hollywood writing, right? Something simple. I didn't want to like ask him for something crazy. And then he shows me this logo. And then he's like, I can animate that button too to blink. Please do. And he did it. And wow, does this logo and the logo he gave me, shit, man. It was exceeded my expectations. So please follow him for any logos you need done. This guy, and if you want to see his work, it is on there. You can see everything that he's, put, all the little models he's made, all the things he's made. It's fucking fascinating to see. So definitely check him out. Yeah, guys, this is episode 3 of Live from the Filmstrip. I am Christopher A. Padilla, signing off.